Israel is pushing ahead with its indiscriminate bombardment of southern Gaza. At least 4 Palestinians have been killed in attacks on Khan Younis. The attacks come just hours after the International Court of Justice ordered Israel to take measures to stop genocidal actions in the Strip. More than 170 Palestinians were killed in the 24 hours after the ruling was handed down. Israel has killed more than 26,200 Palestinians since October the 7th. Meanwhile, Israeli soldiers have set up checkpoints in Khan Younis, screening and detaining Palestinians who are trying to flee the destruction and fighting. Those who've been released tell of days of humiliation, as Ismail Omar reports.
People are moving across this checkpoint that was set up near Al-Aqsa University towards the western areas. Israeli forces set up this checkpoint 2 days ago, and they've been arresting numerous people as they pass through this checkpoint.
They took my boys earlier, and they've just released them moments ago. They took them last night. They've just released them. My boys didn't do anything wrong.
I'm freezing to death. They stopped and detained us near the tank. They fired rounds near our feet. They detained and searched us.
They humiliated us and fired at us. There was no water, and they detained us overnight. Then they told us to return to the schools. Today, in the morning, they fired at us again.
When they left yesterday, we thought we would not see them again, but thank God we found them here.
It rained on us and it was very tough. We had to throw away all our belongings. We couldn't even eat. Whenever we tried to open our bags, they would open fire on us.
Occupation forces have been opening fire in the direction of the displaced people. People reported large numbers of injured at Khan Younis camp and at Al-Amal neighborhood, and there are a number of people killed and their dead bodies on the ground. Meanwhile, many displaced people have taken refuge in the schools near Nasser Hospital. People continue to move towards the far western part of Khan Younis, and they have no clue where they could be heading next under the ongoing escalation of Israel's offensive.
We can go now to Hani Mahmoud. He joins us from Rafah in southern Gaza. Hani, firstly, tell me about what is happening at these checkpoints in Khan Younis that Israeli forces have set up.
Yes, well, more confirmed reports emerging from Khan Younis of the scenario that we've seen in the northern part in Gaza City is repeating itself in the city of Khan Younis now, where hundreds of thousands of Palestinians were trapped inside their residential homes and the evacuation centers. And as the Israeli military kept militarily surrounding those areas, it started to allow people to go out of the city of Khan Younis, but not at a free cost. What it's doing right now is set up these checkpoints, and these are exactly how they are described. They are a surveillance cameras, as well as very narrow tunnel-shaped corridors for people to walk through in one by one, and the purpose of it is to sift through the population, as the Israeli military is stated. And what it looks like on the ground is more of a setting up a campaign of arrest and humiliation, because it takes hours for people to queue in line of that security check that has been set up. People are asked to do acts that are not in accordance with the practices that are known for people. Putting more pressure. They're asked questions about what's going on in the city of Khan Younis. They are faced with a list of names and pictures of certain people that the Israeli military is after. Just using people, particularly women and children, as a pressure on the men, particularly parents, if they have any lead information into some of the figures they are looking after. So far, the situations are very very difficult, and people who have been through these checkpoints are describing horror, humiliation, as well as the repetition of that you Palestinians have brought this onto yourself, and we are just making your wish real by conducting these security clearance and setting up these checkpoints.
And Hani, what is the situation where you are in Rafah? We're hearing reports the area is becoming increasingly overcrowded.
Yes, well, it's not only the bombing campaign continues, but the area is becoming increasingly overcrowded. Rafah, within the past 2 weeks, already ran out of space and ran out of the basic supplies and essential survival item to accommodate an already displaced, traumatized, large population. It is continuing to get worse by the day, particularly at this time of the year. It's very cold. There is rain, and a possible flood can occur. In evacuation zones like Al-Mawas, it's been very difficult for people within the past 2 days as the temperature dropped down. People have no suitable clothing, have no blankets or anything to warm themselves. On top of that, the lack of food supplies and medical supplies just make the experience much more awful for them. And this is contrary to what people have experienced in the past. They like winter, they like the rain, but not at this particular difficult time where they lack everything essential to help them survive the brutal condition right now.
Thank you for that. Hani Mahmoud reporting there from Rafah in southern Gaza.